Alright, I should have taken a short break, but I failed. Alright, for those of you guys joining us in Dota TV, welcome to Game 2 of Dirty Mike and the Boys versus Dota Weebs. Last game, we saw Dota Weebs took Game 1. And let's see if DMB can rally back and take Game 2. Another Doom ban. It seems like DMB really disliked this hero, and Doom is a strong spell, although he's not with the nerfs to Scorched Earth, he's not as threatening as he once might have been. Draw Ranger gets banned by Dota Weebs, and that's definitely a respect ban. Vengeful Spirit and Ursa are the last two bans, so I expect Invoker will probably be, there. He's extremely popular and extremely strong right now, so the mid lane is already looking really good for DMB. A lot better than last time. Invoker doesn't have very many bad matchups. So we're going to see how Dota Weebs respond to the Invoker first pick. I imagine it'll be much like last game where they picked their supports first. Yeah, and there's Witch Doctor on Dota Weebs this time, taking it away from DMB. And this is just a pretty this is one of the most popular heroes in 82L. It was last season, it was the season before that, and the season before that. So definitely expect to see a lot of this hero if you follow 82L at all. Extremely popular and very often first picked, at least picked up in the first phase.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
We'll have to see if they choose to go for an aggressive posture. I mean, last time they did get pretty aggressive, but they didn't really hit their stride, I'd say, Dota Weebs that is, until about 25 minutes. And they take their Abaddon back, and it did so much work for them. I think this is a really smart idea to take the Abaddon back. They made it work wonders. It was a fantastic hero for them. He won the Viper's lane for him, basically. Even, like, he just did so much, and that shield was super helpful, got them numerous kills. And here's a Shadow Shaman, so DMB might actually be trying to go back to push again. And they ban out the Faceless Void, and I'd expect that's quite possibly a respect ban, because we saw, I believe it was Major Dune playing the Faceless Void, play a really good Faceless Void that game, and unfortunately he wasn't pressured at all in the lane, and I think that was something DMB could have done better. But back to this game, we see Alchemist banned out and Ancient Apparition. I think Alchemist actually plays okay against Invoker, and I think the fear actually is that he can split push you to death. Although lately the Battler build is a lot more popular, and perhaps they're just afraid of getting bursted down and caught out. AA, pretty safe ban, pretty popular hero, good in most lineups, and scales wonderfully into the late game. Ember Spirit banned out again, another strong hero. Definitely really annoying to play against if you don't have lots of catch, and if your supports are going to be Witch Doctor and Abaddon, you might not have enough catch for him, and he could just bounce all over the map, get a Blink Dagger, get Boots of Travel, split push you forever, and there may not be anything you can do about it. So Dota Weebs definitely seem like they might play the same style. Very similar bans, very similar picks. Witch Doctor is in some ways similar to a Lich, very strong, good laning hero, good aggressive hero, really good team fighting hero, actually a better team fighter than Lich is. And Dota Weebs take the Dragon Knight this time, and an immediate Tidehunter pickup from DMB. So they have some pretty strong Death Ball and some pretty strong control on the side of DMB. You're going to immediately, almost always immediately shut down the Witch Doctor ult. It's going to be really hard and take some really good positioning from this Witch Doctor to actually get a good Death Ward off. Not to mention, Tidehunter is a very good laning hero, and is very good, and it's really hard to bully him out of his lane. So, we'll see how the laning matchup goes. He's actually pretty strong against Abaddon and Witch Doctor, since most of the harass is right clicks. And is decent against Dragon Knight too. So here's the Juggernaut, and this I'm actually a really big fan of this hero. He's great early game, he's great mid game, he scales not the best, but he scales well. And actually, I'm not sure if TA is right here. I understand. Okay, and what's more confusing is the Invoker gonna safe, or is the TA gonna go safe? So DMB picking some really greedy heroes because Shadow Shaman wants some farm. He wants to get that blink. He wants to get, well, okay, just a blink, but still, he's gonna be taking farm at some point. And now you have a TA who, the Dragon Knight Elder Dragon form does damage over time. Spin, damage over time. Witch Doctor, Malediction, and his ult hits many, many times. So her refraction is not going to really do that much. Although she can burst, I guess the armor shred is good. And she pushes okay with side blades, I suppose. So last two bans, Slardar and Shaker. Slardar banned out last game. Shaker was a bit of a pain for Dota Weebs, I think. I think he bought DMB a lot of time last game. Dota Weebs are probably looking for their other support, or no, they're looking for their offlaner unless they want to do aggro dual lanes. But they're still looking for an offlaner, so I think depending on what this is will determine whether they choose, okay guys, let's do an aggro duel, or... Alright, so this is almost definitely an aggro dual lane then. And I'm actually surprised Gyro got that far into the draft, but now you've got... DMB have an extremely greedy draft. So, it can win. DMB's draft can win. They can, if they manage to survive the early game, they can win. Because their draft is so late game oriented, because, I mean, it's greedier, right? You have more cores. You have more cores, it goes late. If it goes late and you have more cores, you win. I'm talking really late. I think it would need to go like an hour for DMB to really get ahead with this draft, or they need to win every single one of their lanes. Dota Weebs have multiple ways to start fights. They can take towers early with the Healing Ward and the Voodoo Restoration and the Abaddon. They have a really hard to kill lineup, although it's a little low on the damage, and not so true, the Witch Doctor ult. But they've... it's just kind of scary if you're DMB, I think. Anyways, I'll talk about the draft again after I introduce the teams. So this time, DMB has their captain, Panty Dropper, playing Tidehunter. Prankster going back mid with the Templar Assassin. Alterion is playing your Invoker. AO is playing Shadow Shaman. Juicy Grape is now on the Gyrocopter. Cillian is playing Abaddon. Rombi Cube going mid and playing Dragon Knight. Major Dune, who was facing Void last time, playing Spiritbreaker. Shiro playing Juggernaut, and Shinoa on Witch Doctor. They scouted out the Tide, so they may know that this has been blocked, but they do not have sentries. So this looks like a support Invoker, and I think it's either a support Invoker or it's a support Gyro. Neither is particularly strong. Like, Invoker is so dependent on levels. So it looks like each mid got their bounty rune, so nothing crazy happening in the first few moments of this game. Yeah, and it looks like they're doing dual lanes. They can probably play pretty... I think it's smart to do the dual lanes here, since maybe they know they're against a try, but... it's good to have dual lanes up against a tri-lane some of the time, I think. So he cannot, there's no way he dies. Sunstrike does very little damage. I think Cold Snap would have definitely been the better option. And this support Invoker, he's gonna be hard pressed to make very much happen. Let's see, let me open up the last hits tab. Prankster completely outCSing Dragon Knight with a staggering 3 last hits at 1 minute. The bot lane is also pretty passive. Tidehunter, pretty hard to move out of lane. So, both teams, most of these lanes until the Invoker gets level 2 and gets Quas, will probably be very passive. And even so, I believe Cold Snap is purged by a Photic Shield. Dragon Knight getting beat up pretty badly by this TA. Looks like DMB pulled just to the hard camp, trying to do their best to zone out the dual lane of Dota Weebs as best they can. Mid TA is really just dominating right now. About half a level ahead of the DK. Tidehunter though is getting totally free XP. He's getting everything he could dream of. And once he gets 6s, if he carries a TP, he could rotate around the map and find some kills. There's a haste rune top and a bounty rune bot. We'll see if anyone goes for those. So Abaddon's rotating mid. Spirit Breaker is charging mid. But there's no point in Dragon Tail. I think that was not wise, but they may get the kill anyway. Yeah, the shield pops, getting the kill. Invoker tries to TP. He might get a return kill. Nope. Cold Snap purged off by a Photic Shield. They're just able to run him down, which is really unfortunate because this TA, I think, has a lot of weight on her for DMB. I think that, and this is just, she's the one that can, she's already going to have a hard game. So dying, basically what I'm trying to say is, she can't afford to die early because this game's going to be hard for her anyway. And dying early is going to make it even harder on her, which is going to make it worse not just for her, but for her team. Bot lane, Juggernaut's just chilling out, having some free time. Him and Witch Doctor just getting levels. Tidehunter walked back to base. Juicy Grape doing really well in CS too. The supports on the side of Dota Weebs are getting decent levels. And Invoker he just needs so many levels. And there's the weakness of this Invoker. He can't contribute anything really. And the Abaddon is just doing so much work for Dota Weebs again, purging off the Cold Snap. What could have maybe been a kill, completely shut down thanks to the Dragon Knight. Or sorry, thanks to the Abaddon shielding the Dragon Knight. I'm having a hard time seeing DMB get really ahead with, like, if they lose their lanes, I have a hard time seeing them come back at all. Jaro getting a lot of free farm up here, so that's, I guess, the saving grace. He's getting okay levels, decent farm. Shadow Shaman immediately cancels a TP. I wonder if it would be useful for TA to get a point in meld. Perhaps. I mean, maybe not. They still have Dragon Tail, so if she melds, I don't think they could kill her. Skill builds are a little weird this game, but Dota Weebs are, I want to say, at least not losing the lanes, which is important for them. I think if you're DMB, you have to win your lanes. Especially because you have a support invoker. Because you have support invoker who is just so dependent on getting levels and so dependent on finding kills to get levels in some items, it's just... Oh, and the gyro stopped the pull, giving Spirit Breaker even more XP. Dragonite's going to find himself a bounty room, but he has no bottle. Looks like he's rotating top and wants to try to find a kill. Although there is a ward there, so they might just collapse on him when he does this. It looks like they're going to make the safe play him back, knowing he has a double damage rune. This could be terrifying and very, like... DD plus Elder Dragon form, he's going to tear someone up. He's pretty far behind the tower right now, though. So unless he tries to tower dive, and no point in Dragon Tail either, so it's not like he can open with a stun on the Shaman. Yeah, he's just gonna feed away his life here. That's where you want something like a point in Dragon Tail. Tide comes up, he has Ravage, so maybe they're looking for more, but I don't think they'll find anything else. Leaving this bot lane unattended might not be a very good idea either. Juggernaut's almost level 6. Juggernaut has Omni Slash now. And his Aquila is done or not far off. So that death of Dragon Knight gave TA some space to hang out in mid, so she definitely likes that, but DK probably still in an alright spot, just considering his team doesn't... Dota Weebs aren't under as much pressure to perform. If lots of kills start going the way of DMB, I think they will win. At least the first few fights, just because DMB have heroes that if they get ahead, if DMB ever gets ahead, they could win this game pretty handily. But the issue is they don't even win when they're going even. Like, I don't think they want trades. I think they just want to win fights. So it looks like they're going to try to give this bounty to the Gyrocopter, maybe try to make a play on mid lane, knowing they've called down ready. Looks like there are a lot of rotations going mid. Smoked up Shadow Shaman, smoked up Invoker. The smoke broke, and they might be able to find this Abaddon. Yep, looks like that's a quick and easy kill for DMB. Definitely something they need, because this Invoker is going to need as many levels as he can get. An Omni Slash, and this should be a dead Tidehunter. Yeah, the Malediction will very likely be enough, yes. So this Tidehunter, he's at least level... He has Ravage, which is the ultimate goal of Tidehunter in lane. Just make sure you don't feed so much you don't get Ravage. Because it's hard to beat up against a Juggernaut who can just spin on you and completely ignore Kraken Shell. Invoker's found level 5 now, and we'll have to see if... I'm actually pretty surprised he didn't get any points in Wex. I would figure a support Invoker would really like points in Wex. Juggernaut does not have the mana to spin. I'm wondering if they're going to try to Ravage. But will they be able to get into position to get a kill off of that, or will it just be a wasted Ravage? That's pretty unfortunate that they blew the Ravage and weren't able to do anything. It's actually pretty bad. Ravage's cooldown is fairly long, and now this gives Dota Weebs a little bit of like a window. And I think I missed a kill, actually. Oh no, I watched the Tide die. I lied. Spirit Breaker's level 7 now, so he can definitely start trying to be a part of these fights. I wonder if this ABBA Space Cow combo is like similar to the Darkseer Space Cow combo, where you Ion Shell, except instead of Ion Shell you would drop an Aphotic Shield. I wonder if that could actually get a kill on this Gyro. Looks like the charge going mid, looks like some fights breaking out. Death Ward comes out hitting and Tide tanks most of it, but quick rotations from both sides. Tide gets picked off by this another charge, another strike. And now DMB are on the run, but it doesn't look like Dota Weebs are going to be able to get much more out of this. In fact, I don't know, it looks... Actually, having gone back in, oh, this could be really bad. I don't think any of them should die to the malediction. And TA will have refraction up fairly soon. But, oh wow, she actually... Did she switch treads? That must have been it. She switched off her treads to try to get to int treads to pop refraction. That must be it. So that was pretty sloppy for DMB. They didn't have Ravage and they tried to fight anyway, which is the issue of when he blew it down here. It's not having... That's their ace in the hole. Ravage is their, like, alright, we win team fights for the first 10 minutes of the game because we stun everyone and it actually does pretty good damage, and then we just, you know, blow them up with, like, right clicks or Invoker or Shaman wards or Gyrocopters. Here we see a TA trap drop. Looks like she's going to try to get this Witch Doctor. She missed the meld strike, but gets the kill anyway.
Radiant's top tower is getting walloped.
Alright, so I'm just going to see what items everyone's getting. Invoker is still sitting on nothing. Shadow Shaman also doesn't have anything. TA has her Aki ring. I'd imagine Blink is going to be her first item. Jaro went HOD. His next item will probably be an S and Y. It's pretty standard. And Tide is looking for his Blink Dagger still. Abaddon going for Phase Boots again. Tried playing that extremely aggressive style he did last time. And sorry I missed another kill, but Dota Weebs just getting a quick pick, and they're actually, looks like they're going in. Really good cast bounces. The Invoker barely surviving. It looks like TA gets blown up. A good Ravage catching everyone on Dota Weebs, but is it gonna be enough? They're still gonna lose their Gyro, and they lost their TA. And they're gonna lose their Tier 1 tower, all for just getting the Spirit Breaker. I think if you're Dota Weebs, you're very happy about this kind of trade. DK finishes his armlet. The healing ward is going to keep them all completely healthy. I'm actually surprised we don't have any points in Voodoo Restoration on this Witch Doctor just yet. But it's so hard. That was a 5-man Ravage that DMB wasn't able to capitalize on. And that's what they should be. That's what they want to happen. They want to get these 4 or 5-man Ravages into like a call down, and then, you know, some Invoker stuff, whatever it is he's going to do as a support, and then just tear them up, right? Like, just blow them to hell after the Ravage, or at least force them back, force out some defensive spells. They need to get Shaman's wards. They really need to have Serpent wards. I think that'll help them pretty good in these fights. That little bit of damage that can't be, you know, it's especially if they like trap the Jugs inside or trap the DK inside, then they can take fights really, really quickly and really, really easily. So they really need to dedicate some time to finding this Shaman his level 6. Looks like Dota Weebs are trying to take a push up on top. Omni Slash isn't ready, but there's not a lot that DMB can do up against this Juggernaut spin. Especially with Abaddon backing up the Jugs and his whole team right there. Spirit Breaker's completely ready to charge someone. Witch Doctor's hanging out. Death Ward is ready. Looks like Dota Weebs are setting up an ambush, and DMB might walk right into it. But actually, I think they know something's up. They're trying to back off, but they're standing right underneath this ward. The fight's breaking out in 2 separate areas, and the DK fighting over here against the Tide, but Death Ward comes out. The Tornado doesn't stop it, and that's 3 down. Death Ward taking out the Invoker. TA is chilling out alone, but they know where she is. She's going to try to fight up, and there she goes. 4 down. No chance to Ravage. Tidehunter just ran off, and This is the issue. If they had wards, maybe, but that fight was pretty poorly coordinated, and I apologize, I got pretty lost in that fight, but they dedicated Omni Slash, they dedicated Death Ward, they dropped another strike, and Abaddon's ult was also popped. So, Dota Weebs did use pretty much their whole arsenal, but are at full health thanks to the Sealing Ward. They're ready to take this T2, but it might not be the best idea. They don't have any ultimates up just yet. Abaddon's gonna purge off the Aphotic. Call down comes down, but misses the Juggernaut. Abaddon's ult's back up, but DMB still have almost all their ultimates.
Radiant's bottom tower has uninvited guests.
It's like DMB are trying to chase, knowing that they have Ravage up. They looks like they want something. They get two people slowed down, but unfortunately, that Witch Doctor Cask did tons of work. Let's see if he can get a good Ravage. Juggernaut spins at just the right time to prevent that Ravage. And because of that, they may just get torn up here. Another lost fight. Well, not lost. It was a trade, but the Ravage was blown and not enough came from it. They didn't get enough out of the Ravage, and that's the big thing for their lineup is they need to be getting a lot out of these Ravages in order to justify how greedy their lineup is. Because this Invoker isn't that effective since, and there's another charge coming. A good Tornado to stop the Spirit Breaker. Omni Slash and Spin taking out the Shadow Shaman, and the TA should be fine. They're just gonna take the T2 and back. They don't have Healing Ward up. Well, they don't have the mana for the Healing Ward for... No, he's just about ready to drop the Healing Ward. So, he's just gonna TP bot and farm. Has his Battle Fury now. I haven't seen that for some time, but wonder if they're gonna take out this stack here. Could be dangerous, but the DMB aren't really in the area to contest Dota Weebs taking this stack. Tidehunter farming Ancients now has enough gold for his Blink Dagger. This could help a lot. He really needs to be able to get these really good Ravages, catch them off guard, start fights that Dota Weebs aren't ready for.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So we'll see if that Blink can make any real difference, but he has to make that Blink do a lot of work if he wants them to come back into this game. Shadow Shaman still level 5, very close to level 6. They cannot take another fight without those Serpent Wards. Looks like he's going to try to stack this camp. Jugs, I am imagining this is either going to be... So that's a Yasha, but we'll see if he's going to go Manto or an SNY to fight more early. This Shaman is just so sad. He's just so far behind, and because of that, he can't really contribute. So TA is going for Deso as her first item. I think she needs the Blink so that she can try to start fights, but it's just, yeah, and there's the DK now has a Blink Dagger, and I missed that, but really good Tornado. Awesome Ravage. This could be the fight that DMB are looking for. Gyrocopter's still really healthy. Tidehunter, they're all very, very healthy. No one's died yet. TA might just get out. This is exactly the fight that DMB are needing, and that's the Tide Blink going to work. That's the Serpent Wards, and it was just really, and I cannot understate how good that Tornado was. It really, really, really helped. It prevented the Spirit Breaker from causing havoc in the back line, and that's a pretty good gold swing. Damn, I missed the fight recap, but it was about a 2.5k gold swing. Oh, no, it was not. It was close to a 3, almost a 4k gold swing in favor of DMB, and this might be exactly what they needed to get themselves back into the game. They should definitely be able to take this tier 1 tower, so it's a good bit of gold, little bit of welfare. Oh, looks like I was wrong. Looks like they're backing off. Actually, oh, great Omni Slash timing, preventing. But did he go too deep? Oh, the shield to cast canceling the shackles. They dedicated a lot for that shaman, but they did save the Juggernaut. Tidehunter is looking like he's going for Ags, which might be an alright item. More AoE damage, and they could use some more AoE. Tornado's starting to have some good distance on it. Finally getting some levels in Wex. I mean, if I were Dota Weebs, I would be probably more worried about the EMP. Because if your Witch Doctor and your Abaddon are able to cast their spells to save your teammates, then I would worry. I'm not so worried about the Tornado alone. Although, it does cancel your Death Ward. And your Spirit Breaker charge. So, I think it's up to this Invoker to make some really good plays. And we've seen from the last fight he is capable of that. Roshan's ready, and I think one of these teams definitely should go for it. DMB could do it really fast with the TA Meld Strike and the Anchor Smash, and even Gush could reduce Roshan's armor, and they could drop wards for it, which probably isn't a bad idea. Jaro's actually going for a BKB as his first item, not an SNY. He wants to be able to ignore some of this magic damage that's coming out, but I don't know if that's actually terribly helpful. This could be really bad. Ravage is up. This is bad. This is a really greedy Roche fight. Oh boy. Poorly timed Ravage right on top of the... Right on top of their... right during the tornado. So this fight seems to actually be going in favor of Dota Weebs. But those Shaman wards are doing some good work, and actually the fight is turned. They can't fight into these Shaman wards, and this TA is just doing so much damage. But she goes down in the end. Will she be able to get a... Abaddon actually manages to get away. They stop the chase on him. Now that Gyro's wards are... Or Gyro Rocket's coming out, and they're just going to back off. So, definitely a really greedy play from Dota Weebs trying to take Roche without any vision, knowing you're up against a TA who very likely has a trap in there. It's a shame the Ravage missed the way it did, but the fight's still went really well. This Invoker is just being... This is just on point. I was really doubtful, but he's playing very, very well and is making most of the plays... I think most of the plays his team have made this game have been made possible by him. Alright, let's check out item progression on the side of the Radiant. We've got Vlad's now on Abaddon. They may try to go for Roche again. Yeah, Juggernaut. I could see this being either an SNY or a Manta. Both are pretty good. DK just farming a stack he made in the jungle. Witch Doctor finishing Ags really early. This could be... They're going to need to... They absolutely need to cancel this Witch Doctor ulti now, but like I said at the draft, it's pretty difficult for this Witch Doctor to get a long-duration Death Ward thanks to the Tornado, the Ravage, just a lot of AoE control coming out that could really, really ruin his chances at a strong Death Ward, and that could be exactly what Dota Weebs need. It's just a strong Death Ward. A steady 5k gold lead now for Dota Weebs, and barely any XP lead. It's probably about 1k, 1.2k, somewhere in that region. Juggernaut's just continuing to pressure this lane. He's not really in any danger thanks to Spin. They have no BKB piercing stun or magic immunity piercing stuns. Gyro has his has enough gold for his BKB. Let's see if he buys it. Yeah, he just bought the BKB. Invoker very close to his Yules. He should have it very, very soon. Tidehunter only about 500 away from his Ags. DMB doing a great job getting their items online. Although this Jugs could be really scary, and Ags did get picked up by that Witch Doctor. Uh-oh, looks like there might be some trouble here. Alright, so just a cast gets blown and they all back off, but it looks like Dota Weebs are grouping up bot. Let's see if they decide to push or not. There is no TA in the area. If she can TP to that T2. Invoker did finish his Yules just now. Shaman just being a 5, doesn't have any items yet. They just blow up that gyro with... So this... Alright, so really well positioned wards, but in a great Ravage. Let's see if anything comes of it. They already... The 2 getting picked off immediately is a huge problem, and the Witch Doctor's saving his ultimate until he knows that all of their AoE is blown, and these wards are just going to get farmed up. Really, really well taken fight. Great positioning from Dota Weebs, and I think DMB just didn't expect to have to take a fight there. It didn't feel like they were taking a fight there. They just didn't seem ready. TA finished her... Oh, this is probably not the blink. I guess he's trying to defend his tower as best he can. Spearbreaker immediately canceling his charge. Let's see if they overstayed their welcome. Shiro gets killed by the TA, really... Oh, clutch Abaddon save! And there's another quick deathless. The TA should be able to escape, but this could be a lane of racks. The healing ward is up, so it's pretty hard. Oh, that's a really good tornado right on top of a cooldown, but the healing ward is keeping the everyone on the side of Dota Weebs relatively healthy. The only casualty here looks like it might be Abaddon. The healing ward finally dies. Really good Witch Doctor cast, but let's see if that missile is going to kill off the Abaddon. It doesn't look like Abaddon's going to be able to get away from this one. Yeah, that missile and no more hope. Just a smack in the face, and Witch Doctor. Oh god. Poor Witch Doctor. Just absolutely blown up. However, Juggernaut did choose, I think this is the right play from him, just split push top lane. Good defense from DMB. Especially considering they did not have a Ravage. That's actually a really good defense. Again, the Invoker making a lot of these plays possible, and now it looks like Roshan might go the way of DMB, and that could be what they need. They're already able to take some of these fights, but with the Aegis on like the TA or the Gyro, it could be a completely different game. Alright, so this makes it a little harder for Dota Weebs to take a fight. If they take a fight as well as they did last time and just have good positioning and chain their spells correctly, then they'll still take a fight even with the Aegis. But a mistake I think they're making is they'll team fight like they did bot, have none of their resources up, they've lost their Death Ward, they have no Omni Slash, they have no Nether Strike, they have no Abba Ult, and Elder Dragon Form timing down, and they'll continue to push. It's one of those things that's like, alright, they have none of their cooldowns, or they use all their cooldowns, and DMB have most of theirs left. And because Dota Weebs don't have their cooldowns up, they lose fights. Gyro has a pretty good amount of money in the bank, and so does this TA. It's going to be interesting to see what they both go for. Invoker's managed to find some pretty good levels and actually did go back to max out the Wex. That means they now have Tornado to initiate fight on, as well as Ravage. It's really important they have more than one way to start fights. Shaman, I guess, is going for a Glimmer Cloak. Decent item here. And he just needs something. He needs something. I'd actually really like to see a Medallion on the side of DMB. I think a Solar Crest or a Medallion would be really good. They could just... Honestly, it'd be really good on the TA to go Solar Crest too, if no one else wants to. But take Roche even faster, blow up that Jug while he's spinning, take out the DK, basically just stack up some Armor Shred and just blow someone up really fast and just make the fights unbalanced. I think smoke is in stock for both sides. 3 on each side, it looks like. So there's a charge coming in on the Gyro, but interrupted by that by the Invoker, but maybe he overstepped his boundaries this time. Good self-fuels, but he's still going to go down. So Invoker got a little ahead of himself. It was a good tornado, but there was no follow-up. His team wasn't in position to, say, drop a Ravage and jump in. And that's really unfortunate because this makes it hard for them to really use their Aegis. TA is still sitting on 3k gold, and let's check the net worth. Juggernaut is 3k ahead of everyone else, and I'm curious to see what TA is gonna go for. And a quick Omni Slash to very, very nearly blow up the Shaman, who manages to Hex. Good wards, good Ravage in response, but is it enough? Because they've only lost the Spirit Breaker right now. Will this TA be able to take out the Switch Archer? Yes, she will, but she will very definitely die to Maledict. And while that's going on up here, Gyrocopter actually getting several kills. But let's see. So the Invoker buys back, and now Dragon Knight going down as well. Dota Weebs losing for another poorly taken high ground fight. Pink's coming out. Looks like they wanted to get that tower, but I think they've got a little greedy on the kills and maybe should have focused more on their objectives. And it's just one of those things, you know, they're just taking bad fights up high ground, just running into like Ravages, running into ward, like fighting underneath wards is really bad, and this Gyro is just playing so well. I mean, he's 6-4, but he just dominated that last fight. He performed extremely well. Invoker doing a lot of work too. TA losing the Aegis. I didn't see if she died twice. I know Invoker bought back.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, so Invoker did use his buyback. He's the only one. Juggernaut still on top of the net worth, but not nearly as much anymore. Gyro has an MKB completed. TA is going... I'm going to imagine that's a Butterfly. Yes, TA has just about has Butterfly. Just a few more creeps and she'll be there. She only needs the Quarterstaff. So 2 really big items coming out on the side of DMB, and that could be a game changer. Tide steadily working towards his refresher. Yeah, tornado range that long, he's going to be able to cancel that Witch Doctor ult from really far away. Jug's actually forced into a BKB on a really defensive item choice, and probably not one he wants, considering he really wants to keep the pressure, snowball harder, and BKB doesn't really help you snowball that much more. Especially on a hero who already has built-in magic immunity like Jugs. Abaddon trying to get the Ags. He's actually just about has it, so not that bad. Witch Doctor going for a Glimmer Cape, standard item on that hero. 9-second BKB, sorry, he did use it last fight. Now up on, so Dragon Knight I don't think has had much item progression lately. I think they need the level 16 Dragon Form. But with that Abba Ags, the improved tankability of his team could be pretty significant. Like, it could be massive. Just all of that damage from the Ravage, all that damage from the TA could just basically go away. Alright, TA has now finished her Butterfly. They do know that Witch Doctor's right here, thanks to that trap. TA's done a pretty good job with a fair number of traps providing good vision for her team. Looks like Dota Weebs are going to try to get up high ground. They really want this, but the Butterfly just finished on the TA, and MKB now on Gyro. Are they going to be able to go up high ground? Do they have the damage? This Jugs need to be careful. He's not as strong as he once was. He could get blown up really quickly. I don't think Dota Weebs are going to be able to get up. They have Elder Dragon form, so let's see. Do they manage to take this fight here? Tide and Gyro in the back getting Omni Slash. Witch Doctor gets Ravaged, but still has his ult up. The fight is going really well right now, and oh, the TA goes down. She doesn't have buyback because she's bought out for the butterfly, and poor positioning on the side of DMB, and really good timings from Dota Weebs allows them to take another fight, even though, then again, the net worth was pretty in favor of Dota Weebs, but the TA just wasn't able to do any damage, and that Omni Slash spooked off the Gyro and the Tide, preventing better positioning from an Ags. And Witch Doctor playing really well, just being very patient, knowing, okay, I can't ult before the Tornado and I can't ult before the Ravage. That's 2 lanes of racks down, and I doubt they can defend it. Now Jugs has a 4K ahead of them on net worth, and this cooldown's really just to zone them out. But it's not going to matter. It looks like they may lose their racks here, and Megas might come out. The Shaman wards are just going to be farmed. Yeah, it looks like this could very well be GG. The TA going back in and immediately picking off the Witch Doctor, but that's not the kill you need. You really need to take care of this DK and this Jugs, and Mega Creeps are up for the Radiant. This game, I think it's over. Mega Creeps, their draft isn't, I guess they have Gyro. TA goes down again. I expect the GG call soon. Tide's just going to get torn up really fast here. GG called. And just a fast, well-executed game from Dota Weebs. They got the items they needed. They won their lanes. They just played their draft the way they wanted to play it. And that Abaddon, they played that hero exactly right for them. Like, that hero does so much work for them. And I think anyone who's going up against Dota Weebs in the future just should probably ban the Abaddon, because they really like this hero, and they play this hero very, very well. And their Juggernaut just farmed really well, really fast. They took really early fights because that's what their draft is good at. And DMB needed to play more. They didn't have those Ravages, just weren't enough. They needed to get so much out of their Ravages, and it wasn't enough. So that's it for this week. I'm going to actually be casting a game tomorrow. I believe it's Reborn Dominion versus, give me a sec.